Hello and welcome to this special discussion on Livemin.com. I'm Rahul Sharma. India's second largest IT company, Infosys Technologies, announced its third quarter results, reporting a 33% increase in profits. This amidst a global economic downturn, which the company says has helped it win contracts as companies across the globe look at ways to cut costs. We now have with us a Bangalore Bureau Chief, Venkatesha Babu. Venkatesha, how do you read Infy's results?
Given the circumstances in which Infy is declaring its third quarter numbers, the numbers which have come out are really impressive. On a sequential basis, its revenues have gone up by 6.8%, and more impressive has been the fact that its net profit has gone up by a significant 14.6%. Infy's numbers beat the expectations of the market as well as analysts. It also beat its own projections which it had provided for the third quarter. Given the tepid sentiment in the market, Infosys numbers have come as a boost to the market overall.
All right. You know, Infosys is considered the IT bellwether. It sort of indicates how things are likely to shape up for the rest of the sector. What is your reading on that?
While Infosys numbers are pretty good, there is a huge caveat as far as its own performance is concerned. One is in terms of its dollar numbers. Infosys on a sequential basis, its revenues actually declined by 3.7%. What this essentially means is that Infosys to a very great extent has helped by a weakening rupee, which has helped to boost its numbers as far as the revenues as well as the bottom line is concerned. Remember that Infosys gets significant percentage of its revenues from the US market. It bills the bulk of its customers in dollars. So Infosys, while the numbers on the surface look very good, when you drill down in terms of dollar revenues, there has been a sequential decrease of 3.7%. Having said that, Infosys by all counts is the best company as far as any metric is concerned in the Indian IT sector. So its performance might not strictly indicate the way other, especially tier 2 companies might perform. TCS and Wipro are expected to put in their numbers shortly. I expect their performance to be along the way they have guided to the market. So Infosys numbers are not exactly an indicator of what will happen eventually to especially the tier 2, tier 3 players in the Indian IT sector.
All right, talking about the employment opportunities at Infosys, if you just look at their quarter result, they're saying that they're going to hire 3,700 people in this quarter. But if you look at their BPO operations, they have, there's a decline of 386. What is your take on the employment scenario?
Specific to Infosys, they have been adding employee numbers in the services segment, but in the BPO segment where the margins are much lower, Infosys has been, they have actually decreased numbers. Infosys has been clear from day one that even in the BPO business, they would take on only such work which will add significant margin to their bottom line. To that extent, I am not surprised that there has been a decrease in the Infosys addition of numbers as far as the BPO business is concerned. Overall, the employment outlook for the tech sector is that while they will continue to add numbers, it will not reflect the kind of heady gaga growth which we saw over the last 4 to 5 years. There will be at best incremental addition of people as far as Indian IT companies are concerned.
All right. Also, there is, post Satyam, everybody is saying that there will be a significant movement of business from what was earlier with Satyam to other ITs. Do you think Infosys will stand to gain a lot from that?
It is a bit premature, but yes, that's a likely possibility that some of Satyam customers might choose to take their business away and hand over to some other Indian IT vendor. To that extent, Infosys stands to gain, just like Tata Consultancy Services as well as Wipro or any of the other Indian IT players might benefit. But Infosys, in its remarks, has very clearly said that it will not go out aggressively into the marketplace and pitch to Satyam's customers. Of course, if Satyam's customers so choose to talk to Infosys and give their business to them, they say that's a different matter.
All right. Also, Venkatesha, post Satyam, there is a greater scrutiny of what is happening at the Indian companies in general. You have been you have seen many results of Infosys. What was your sense this time around? Was it any different?
Infosys, as usual, has set benchmarks in terms of the disclosure which they have done, whether it is in terms of their margins, in terms of their people, in terms of where the business comes from. I think that they have been very open and transparent. Probably they have some of the best corporate governance practices, not just in the technology sector in India, but probably in the entire Indian corporate sector. To that extent, I think that Infosys continued the tradition even today.
All right. One last question. Going ahead, how do things look?
For the technology sector?
For the technology sector and Infosys?
I think that the next 12 months is going to be extremely challenging. What will set apart companies which will excel during this period would be those who can survive in a very tough market where customers are extremely demand a very great bang for the buck they spend, and I think that it will separate the men from the boys.
All right, and also, do you think that would there be some sort of a change in strategy? Would there be a focus to newer markets?
Yes, Indian companies have been trying to diversify away from their excessive dependence on the US market by trying to get a greater amount of business both from Europe as well as Asia Pacific. Some of these IT companies have also started looking at the domestic market in a much more aggressive fashion than they have done in the past. For instance, Infosys till very recently just used to get less than 2% of their overall revenues from the Indian market. Last September, they set up a separate business unit just to address the Indian market needs. And I think that this will be the trend going forward. They will try to diversify the business they get by geography. They are also looking to move up the value chain by offering better and higher margin-oriented business like consulting. They will also look at making small niche acquisitions which will provide them either a customer base or entry into a new geography.
All right, so the companies have to brace themselves for tougher economic conditions, but there would also be diversification to Asian and the European economies, as well as a greater outlook, greater focus on the domestic markets. Thanks a lot, Venkatesha. Well, that's it from all of us. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.